This is a real case. The police report exists. You can find it online, and once you read it, you will never look at a photograph the same way again. My name doesn't matter. What matters is what happened to a girl named Estefania. In Madrid, Spain. 1990. She was 18 years old, a normal girl, happy, quiet, loved by her family. She had no history of mental illness, and no history of violence, and no history of anything unusual, until one afternoon in March. It started with a Ouija board, not at home, not at night with candles and friends daring each other. It happened at school, during the day. In a classroom, Estefania and a few friends wanted to contact the spirit of a boy their friend had loved, a boyfriend who had died recently. They thought it would bring comfort. They thought it was harmless. A nun found them. She was furious. She grabbed the board and she broke it in half. Some people who were there say that when the board snapped, a strange smoke rose from it, thin, dark, moving in a way smoke shouldn't move. And Estefania, she inhaled it. Nobody thought much of it at the time. It was just smoke. It was just a broken toy. But that was the last normal day of Estefania's life. In the weeks that followed, her family began to notice things, small things at first. She would stop mid-sentence and stare at nothing. Her eyes would go blank, somewhere else, seeing something no one else could see. Then the hallucinations started. She told her mother she was seeing figures, dark shapes, walking through her bedroom at night, standing at the foot of her bed, watching her sleep. Her family took her to doctors, multiple doctors. They ran tests. They found nothing. No tumor. No neurological disorder. No explanation. The doctors were baffled. They had never seen anything like it. Then the convulsions began, without warning, without pattern. Her body would seize and something else would come out of her. She would bark, growl, hiss at her brothers and sisters like an animal. Her family, devout Catholics, began to believe something had entered their daughter. Something that did not belong there. Something that came in with that smoke. More doctors, more tests, more silence. In August 1991, Estefania was admitted to a hospital in Madrid. The seizures had become unbearable, the hallucinations constant. Her body was failing for no reason anyone could name. The hospital staff watched her deteriorate. They had no diagnosis. And no treatment. And no answers. After 3 weeks, a nurse went to check on her in the morning. Estefania was gone, lying in her bed. No signs of injury. And no signs of struggle. The official cause of death on the certificate: cardiac arrest. She was 18 years old, with a perfectly healthy heart. Her family buried her, and they tried to grieve. They tried to move forward, but Estefania was not finished. The first thing they heard was a voice, coming from Estefania's bathroom. A whisper, one word, over and over: Mama. Her mother would rush to the bathroom, empty, every time, empty. Then her room started changing. They would clean it, organize it, close the door, come back an hour later, and find the sheets thrown across the floor, objects scattered. As if something had been looking for something, and could not find it. The sounds came next, scratching along the walls, like nails, like something dragging itself through the stone. Then laughter. High, wrong, coming from above the ceiling. Then the banging. Fists, or what felt like fists, pounding the walls from the inside. Lights switched themselves on and off. Appliances turned on in empty rooms. Doors opened slowly in the middle of the night. The family barricaded doors. They pushed heavy furniture against them. Sofas with marble ornaments on top. It didn't matter. They would hear a roar like wind inside a house with no windows open, and the furniture would fly, scattered like paper, as if whatever was on the other side did not even have to try. Then they saw it. One of Estefania's younger sisters described it this way: we heard a whistling sound like on other nights, and then a groan near the door. We were too scared to move. And then we saw something on the floor. The light from outside illuminated it. It was shaped like a man, but it was crawling toward us on all fours. It had no eyes. And no mouth, just a black head, and it dragged itself closer and closer until we screamed. At that moment, toys flew off the shelf across the room, violent, fast. As if thrown by invisible hands. Neighbors who came to help witnessed it too. Objects launching themselves across rooms, shadows darting across walls where nothing should be moving, things embedding themselves into walls with a force no human hand could produce. In 1992, Estefania's mother woke up in the middle of the night, unable to move. She felt pressure on her chest, on her legs, on her arms, hands, gripping her, holding her down. She screamed, she fought, and whatever it was, let go. That was the night the family called the police. This is the part of the story that separates the Vallecas case from every other haunting you have ever heard about, because the police came. And the police saw at T-40 in the morning. Officers arrived at the apartment on Calle Luis Marin 8 in Vallecas, Madrid. Chief Inspector Jose Pedro Negri led the team inside. What they found they wrote down, word for word. In an official police report. Stamped, signed, filed. The report describes loud noises coming from a completely empty porch, the door of a perfectly sealed armoire opening suddenly. By itself. In a way that the officers described as totally unnatural. A crucifix on the wall, the figure of Jesus separating from the cross. Falling to the floor, alone, deep scratches appearing on a poster behind a door as though clawed by something that left 3 long parallel marks in the paper, and a large brown stain appearing on a tablecloth that had not been there when the officers arrived. Negri later gave an interview. He described entering Estefania's bedroom where the father told him in a voice still shaking that just days before, his young son had been picked up from one bidet and thrown onto another. By something no one saw. The inspector said he heard screaming from outside the building. He went to investigate. He found nothing. The street was empty. He went back inside. The report, when it was filed the next morning, used a phrase that has never been forgotten by anyone who has read it. The officers described the situation as a situation of mystery and rarity. That is the language of Spanish law enforcement. Measured, professional, careful. They did not say haunted. They did not say demonic. They said mystery and rarity, and they meant it. Shortly after the family left, they packed whatever they could carry and moved to an undisclosed address somewhere else in Madrid. The moment they left, everything stopped. And no more voices. And no more shadows. And no more hands in the dark. The apartment on Calle Luis Marin 8 stood quiet, as if it had never happened. The case was never officially solved. The police report still exists. Scans of it are available online. The handwriting, the stamps, the signatures, all real. Estefania's cause of death remains officially cardiac arrest. The figures her family saw officially unexplained. The photograph that burned in her mother's hands, the one where Estefania's face was scorched from the inside, that photograph still exists too. You can see it. The damage starts from within the image. From behind the paper. As if something reached through from the other side and took her face. In 2017, a Spanish horror film called Veronica was released on Netflix. Based loosely on this case, people called it the scariest movie on the platform. Some claim they couldn't finish it. But here is what they don't tell you about Veronica. The real story is worse, because in the movie it ends. In real life, no one knows if it ended. The family moved. The activity stopped. But Estefania, whatever Estefania became after that smoke entered her, whatever followed her family through her death and into their home, it didn't leave because it was defeated. It left because they ran, and whatever it was, it let them go, which means it chose to. I'll leave you with one last detail. The date of the Ouija board incident at the school, March 1990. The date the police filed their official report after witnessing everything themselves, confirmed as real. Confirmed as unexplained. The only date no one has ever been able to fully confirm is the date the smoke entered her, because no one wrote it down, and Estefania, the only one who would know, never got to tell anyone. This has been Hollow Whisper. The Vallecas Case, Madrid, Spain, 1990, real, documented, unsolved. If this kept you awake, you're not the first. Subscribe, and stay close. There are more of these, far more than you want to know.